an extraordinary brief moment before we came out that one of the brothers who was photographing us said to you, Bill, I can't dance. And you said, you won't dance.
Yes.
And he insisted can't, and you insisted won't. And part of what you were doing there was giving him the freedom and the license to dance, even if it's badly. You too are a dancer. You're not going to be me, but you can dance. And so dig on that. And what is dance then?
Well, here's my kind of obnoxious answer, which is I think dancing is a movement of people and things in space and time. Boom. What is choreography? Choreography is the generation, identification, and organization of dance materials. So, yes, everybody is dancing all the time. The molecules are dancing, the spheres are dancing. And that man, the big guy, I know that there are people, when they're happy enough, they can get on the floor and move. Now, is he saying, I don't do sanctioned movements? You know, is that what he's talking about? And the downtown world that gave me voice allowed us an exploration of all body types being able to participate in this sacred precinct, which is called the stage. So that's why I was saying to him, you just won't. And if you think about what it means to move freely in a non-utilitarian way, that's where I'll say all that mankind creates that is useless is art. So I would say that all movement that is, and sometimes it is useful, but all movement that is useless, it kind of pointless, is in some ways an expression, a free expression, at least what I would call dance. Yeah.
And you know, some of your work, Mark, you are doing poetry, and then there's movement and or dance within that, which takes it to a whole nother level. Talk about how you mix those two within one.
I mean, you know, at first I just have to point to soulfulness as an intellectual enterprise. The taking over, the just grew.
But I have to stop you. What is soulfulness?
What is soulfulness?
I got soul.
Yeah.
I'm super bad.
Yeah, it's up in there.
Yes.
It's up in there. I mean, you know, cosmologically, for me, soulfulness is somewhere right underneath my chest and between my knees.
I call this the hallelujah spot.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
The hallelujah spot.
Yeah. If we talk too much about it, we're gonna.
Oh yeah. If you don't, how do you say? If you don't know what it is, don't mess with it.
That's kind of
But
weird.
you know, you can feel it, right? You move like.
Well, there it is.
You move.
There it is.
And there's something happens. Those nerve endings. Please, soulfulness.
But I think just that. If my language, I think, is inert outside of the body. The poem for me doesn't exist on the page. It exists in the moment. In the same way that that perhaps a choreographer can be laying in bed and think of the arrangement or the order of steps, but that's not choreography. It's not choreography until somebody starts sweating. And I typically don't trust art that doesn't bleed or sweat or cry.
Well, you're throwing down, Mark.
Well, I mean, we might as well. You know.
I remember the great choreographer, wonderful choreographer and a friend, David Gordon, in one of his very sardonic asides at the 80s obsession that we had with physical exertion.
Yeah.
And in one of his pieces, he said, if sweat was a virtue, we all would be pure.
It's good.
Yeah? So what do you say to that?
Because then you risk not being a man.
Well, because dance is full of signification.
Yes, whereas the women around us feel, you know, very comfortable to be as exuberant as she feels because she's not in danger of losing anything in that moment.
Well, I couldn't speak for women. I think there's a lot of stuff going on when she also displays.
Sure.
Okay.
When she displays, she's also making herself. And women are really good at that. They know about how much they can and how much they shouldn't because they get in trouble, right? But your point is well taken. I think that social dancing, as much as I love it and I depend on it, the democratic, egalitarian approach to movement, it is fraught with all sorts of orthodoxies and surroundings or boundaries. Yeah.
And you feel that too?
Well, I feel the orthodoxy, sure, of the of the social space, and I also, which I think is why, I prefaced my I chose. I'm just telling on myself. I chose to get free in a corner, right? I chose. I had to let my social group know that I wasn't going to be doing the orthodoxy, that I actually needed to distance myself from the peer group in order to, literally in order to lose myself inside of the music. And
isn't that nice though when you can lose yourself?
yeah, totally. But it would also be really nice if I could lose myself in the same way and be close to my people.
Yeah,
So-
see, I could lose myself if I felt like I was the only person I knew in the room.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
like if my people were there, then I'm like, well, I gotta.
You gotta do this one.
I gotta play.
You
the
do
role.
this one.
Yeah, I dance very lightly.
You do that
I don't
one.
Get exuberant.
Yeah.
But if I felt like I was anonymous, then
Yeah.
I'd be like, all right, now we can get wild.
And for me, my problem is because I am known as a dancer, he was showing off. Now he wants it, because I get out there and I'm gonna get free, and suddenly everyone stops. And they're watching, and then, having their attitudes about it. I get free, like call and response. I throw down, you throw down. But we're not a dancer. Like, no, what do you mean you're not
If
a
I
dancer?
was at a party that you were at and you were thrown down,
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Right, exactly.
Right.
I
Exactly.
just wanna see
But
what
that,
this
but
is
you
all about.
understand that,
I know I
that
do.
puts me in a kind of a bound.
But this, what I like about this this part of the conversation is that it does speak to a certain kind of innocence, right? That when you can untether yourself,
Oh yes.
right, in a way, and we're talking about freedom, not, we're not talking about the prison industrial complex, right? We're there's something that is metaphysical. There's a metaphysical undercurrent that we're seeking to access here, and the body is the portal. Music is the frequency. Music is the instrument, and it all points back to this notion of soulfulness. And where it is in our private spaces or public spaces where we can just be, and to allude maybe to the title of the program, that for me is a space of joy or joyfulness.